Look at these two people very attentively. Which of them is in greater danger? The girl is in danger, while the guy is totally safe. Take a closer look at the snake. It's actually a toy with a price tag on it. Now these two girls both look pretty well off, but one of them is actually poor. Can you figure out which one it is? It's the girl on the right. Her t-shirt is a knockoff. She must be poor. These two men seem to have a serious disagreement, while the girl can only watch their argument in despair. But the question is, which man is her father? It's the man on the left. Have you noticed that they have the same freckles on their shoulders? All these men look extremely poor, but one of them is actually a millionaire in disguise. Can you spot him? It's the man in the middle. He's wearing a fancy wristwatch under the coat. One of these guys broke the window, but neither of them wants to admit he's guilty. Can you help the professor figure out the culprit? It's the guy on the right. He lost his shoe doing it. A whole drama is unfolding in this classroom, but see that spilled juice? You gotta figure out who it belongs to. The guy who's feeling unwell has his own juice. Have you spotted it sticking out of his pocket? The girl also has her own drink, water in a bottle. It means the boy on the left spilled his juice. Which of these people is just pretending to be a woman? Do you know who it is? The person in the middle is a man. He's holding his hat instead of the skirt, like a woman would do. One of these girls is so jealous that she's ruined the prom queen's dress. Which of these two is guilty? An obvious answer would be the girl on the left, but have you paid attention to the fingers of the girl on the right? They're stained red. She's most likely the culprit. Karen came home from work and, instead of her only daughter, found two similar girls. Both of them claim to be her real daughter, but one must be fake. Which one? It's the girl on the right. She has 3 hands, see? Weird and creepy. Help the detective figure out which of these police officers is fake. The blonde woman on the left is a fake police officer. Look at her badge. It's different from the others. One of these students broke a school window, but the teacher can't figure out which of them is guilty. Can you help her? There's a baseball in the bushes right there on the left. It means the baseball player must have broken the window. A wealthy man didn't come back home after a jog. The police questioned the maid, the wife, and the driver. The maid said she'd started preparing breakfast when the man left. The wife saw her husband in the morning, but they just greeted each other, and she went to work. The driver told the police he'd been waiting for his boss in the car, looking through his social media. Who's lying? the maid. If she'd cut the apples for breakfast some hours ago, they'd have turned brown by now. Now look at this poor guy. Someone pulled a paint bucket prank on him. Examine his colleagues and try to figure out who it was. It was definitely this guy on the left. Look at his pants. There are paint stains there. Now, look at these travelers and their bags very attentively. Can you spot a smuggler? Why would a blind person need a flashlight in his luggage? That's suspicious. He must be the criminal we're looking for. A restaurant owner called the police. Someone had attacked his chef. Police officers questioned 3 people who'd been in the staff area during the accident. The first cook was cutting onions when the chef was hurt. Tears had blurred his vision and he didn't see anything. The second cook was peeling prawns when the accident happened. He was listening to music through his earphones and didn't hear anything. The waitress claimed she'd been serving lemonade outside. Who's lying? The second cook. There can't be prawns in a vegan restaurant. Can you figure out which of these people is poor? Pay attention to the guy with an iPhone. The apple on the back is whole, which means the phone is fake. You wake up in a room with 3 doors. Someone starts knocking on each of them. You sneak a peek through the peephole. Behind each door, there's a police officer. Which door is safe to open? You can open the third door without any worries. The first man doesn't show his badge and has a knife under his belt. The second man has weird stars on his uniform. The third police officer is the only one with identical stars on his hat and badge and without any hidden weapon. The police were informed that a wanted criminal, Carl Walker, was going to arrive in the country. The man was supposed to come by plane. Unfortunately, the police knew very little about him. He was short, wore glasses, and traveled under a false name. A few police officers went to the airport. They detained 4 people fitting the description: Mr. Lewis, Mr. Relkaw, Mr. Taylor, and Mr. Wilson. Who is the criminal? It's Mr. Relkaw. His last name is actually the criminal's last name, Walker, but with its letters mixed. You're in a room with no doors or windows, and it starts filling with water. You can't find any way to turn it off. Help is on the way, but it's at least 5 minutes until their arrival. You only have 2 minutes. After that, the entire room will be flooded. You've got a straw, a rope, or an empty bucket. Which object can save your life? The bucket. Put it on your head, creating an air pocket. You'll be able to breathe for a couple of minutes. You're stuck on a deserted island. Suddenly, you see a ship. What can you use to communicate with it? A smartphone, a box of matches, a megaphone, or a telescope? A smartphone is useless on a deserted island, no signal. A telescope won't help you communicate with the ship. The capacity of a megaphone is too small for your screams to reach the vessel. You gotta use the matchsticks to start a fire. Fire and smoke indicate an emergency, and people on the ship are more likely to see it. On a rainy evening, Megan came home and found that someone had eaten her chocolate bar. She questioned her sisters. Maria said she'd been working in her room and hadn't left the whole day. Amelia said she'd never eat someone else's chocolate. And Emma said she'd been outside watering plants in the garden. She'd just come home herself. Help Megan find out the truth. It must be Emma. Why would she need to water the plants outside if it's raining? You were taken away by a scientist who wants to test his new protective cream. After covering you with it, he tells you to jump into one of 3 containers. The first one is filled with radioactive waste. In the second container, there's an acid that can even eat through metal. And the third one's filled with lava from a volcano that erupted a year ago. Which container should you choose? Pick the container with the lava. If the volcano erupted a year ago, the lava must already be solid. Mark was going home one evening when a large cat jumped out of the bushes right in front of him. The creature had large fangs and sharp claws and was about to pounce on Mark. The guy only had his phone, a handkerchief, and a bottle of water. And still, he came out of this situation unscathed. How did he scare away the cat? Cats aren't huge fans of water, so Mark just poured some water on the feline.
Hey pal, you riddle lover and mystery solver you. Here's a fresh portion of your favorite intellectual treats. So, let's dig in. Jake is taking part in a reality show. He reaches the final, and the task is really tricky and weird. The organizers have made a clone of Jake's wife, and he needs to find out which of these women is his real spouse. Can you help him win? Easy peasy. Woman 1 has a tattoo with his name on her arm, and it's even the same design as Jake's name on his vest. The police received a phone call that there's an imposter from another planet. He's pretending to be a regular young man, but he has some really scary plans. He's hiding among passengers at the bus station. Can you identify him? Although the first guy looks like a fan of extraterrestrial life because of his suitcase, the second guy is clearly the imposter. His right hand is where his left hand should be, or he may have 2 right hands. Right. Ben is at a 90s theme masquerade. 3 girls decide to prank him and all tell him he's their boyfriend. Ben really wants to find the real girlfriend before she gets mad at him. Can you help him? The clothes give her away. Ben and his real girlfriend have matching outfits. Someone went wild at the college lockers and painted them all red. The administration wants to find out who did it to punish them. They have 2 suspects. Both were in the locker area that morning during classes. So, who did it? It was the girl. Look, there's still some red paint on her hands. A genius scientist invented a time machine. He traveled to the past and took some photos to prove it really happened. Can you find him in the photo? He sure stands out from the crows with his flashlight. They didn't have those in prehistoric times. Nick and Rob are in their 20s, but they still act like kids at their parents' house. While their mom was shopping, they made a mess. One of them even taped mom's favorite dog to the wardrobe. She's really mad and wants to know who did it. Can you solve the mystery? It's the guy on the left. He still has some tape stuck to the soles of his sneakers. Mike and Lulu are newlyweds who chose the craziest activity for their honeymoon. They are flying on ropes tied to a helicopter above the ocean. And uh-oh, there are sharks in the water. Looks like the fun went too far, and one of them is in real danger. Who is it? Mike is in danger here. His rope is about to break. An older lady was swimming, but when she came out of the water, she noticed one of the young people had burned a hole in her bag. She wanted money for the bag, so she had to know who did it. Can you help her? It's the guy on the right. He has a lighter in his pocket. Mr. Jackson comes to his own restaurant as a secret customer. He orders a tomato salad, pepperoni pizza, and chocolate pancakes for dessert. The waiter brings him the order, and Mr. Jackson gets really mad. Why? There's no pepperoni on his pizza, so either the waiter or the cook mixed up his order. A real guest would definitely leave a bad review. Linda works as a software engineer at a robotics company. One of her colleagues was testing a new trick. He jumped from the warehouse roof, but landed badly after falling from this huge height and broke his legs. Yet the next day, he was working again, and his legs were as good as new. How is that possible? It's a robotics company, and Linda's colleague is also a robot. They just replaced his legs with new ones. Katie's friend Ben tells Katie lies about her boyfriend Kyle to separate them. Katie breaks up with Kyle and moves in with her friend, who lives alone. Kyle looks for Katie everywhere and finally comes to Ben's house. He tells Kyle Katie isn't there, but he guesses Ben's lying. How does he know? The mug on the table says Katie, so unless Ben stole it from her, it couldn't be his. Whitney and Brittany are twins. Even their best friends and relatives can't tell the difference between them. Yet they were born on different days. How is it possible? Whitney was born just 1 minute before midnight, and Brittany was born right after midnight. It was a new day. Clara is going on a business trip with 2 of her colleagues, but she also decided to take her husband with them just for fun. Can you guess which one of these 3 guys is Clara's husband? These guys have just backpacks, enough room to drop a laptop and a set of spare clothes. But the third guy has a large purple suitcase with a bag tag that says C+M. He's Clara's husband. A group of students visits an old mansion with many antique items. The most expensive one there is a fountain pen covered with gold and encrusted with diamonds. When the excursion is over, the owner of the mansion notices the pen is gone. They stop the students to find the thief. Who is it? It must be that shy-looking girl in the back. Her shirt pocket has a huge ink spot. A police officer was walking down the street when he heard a girl screaming for help. She told the officer someone had just hit her in the eye and taken her expensive necklace and $1,000 in cash. The policeman instantly figured out the girl was lying. Why? The girl was wearing glasses. If the criminal had hit her in the eye, her glasses would have been shattered. Lisa was on cloud 9 after 2 guys asked her out, but she knew she had to choose one. Robert was her secret crush. He was from a rich family, handsome and smart. Sam was a good guy too. She knew for sure he was kind and funny. Lisa was at a loss. Which one should she pick? Any ideas? Lisa should go for Sam. Robert isn't serious about her. He has a lipstick mark on his neck. On a super cold winter day, a fire broke out in the house of a wealthy old lady. When the fire brigade arrived, they saw her butler, her doctor, and her maid waiting outside. Only one of them stayed in the house longer, trying to save the lady. Can you tell who? It's the butler. The doctor and the maid have red cheeks and noses, but the butler's face is pale because he just left a warm house. A famous singer, Lady Mermaid, is giving the final concert of her world tour. Thousands of fans come to see her. She has an autograph session before the show, and someone steals her expensive jewelry. Her bodyguards believe it's one of the fans who only pretends to love Lady Mermaid. Who was it? It must have been this girl. She came in the t-shirt that says Jake Bloom and not Lady Mermaid. And she has a bunch of cards with autographs, but it's not Lady Mermaid's real signature.
Hey, aspiring detectives, are you ready to look for clues and solve some mysteries? All right then, let's start. It's a busy day on the highway, and everyone is trying to stay entertained the way they can. These two ladies are no exception, and although both of their activities look pretty risky, only one of them is in real danger. Who is it? Lady A is in danger as she's driving and putting her lipstick on at the same time. Lady B is enjoying her dumplings, but since she's just a passenger, it's not a problem. A couple in love wants to order a wedding cake but can't decide which chef to choose. So, they decide to bring them together and ask them to bake a cake to see who's better. Both cakes seem to be really good, but it looks like one of the chefs is really dangerous. Which chef is it? Oops, Chef B has blood on his sleeve. That can't be a good sign. There are 3 people in the park. 2 of them look pretty freaky to me, but only one is super dangerous and can cause some serious trouble to others. Who is it? Okay, the girl with a bulky stick could be up to some trouble, and the guy looks freaky. But the real danger is this sweet-looking lady with a puppy. She's using this fluffy guy to hide a grenade she's tied around her neck. Secret Agent Jackson's mission brought him to a basement of a creepy building with 3 doors leading out of it. Behind the first door, there's boiling hot lava. Behind the second door, there's a psycho killer dressed as a clown. And behind the third door, the temperature is -50. Which door should the agent choose to escape? Looks like the third door is the right one. You can definitely survive that temperature with the right clothes. 2 divers are doing what they love the most, exploring the underwater world. But oh no, one of them is in extreme danger. Who is it? The diver in the first picture is in real immediate danger. There's a shark behind them and no one to come to the rescue. Yes, there's also a shark behind the second diver, but there's a submarine with other people to rescue this human. Miranda is applying for a really great job and she has to solve several riddles to land the position. Can you help her? The first riddle is, ask this question all day long, but always get completely different answers, and yet all the answers will be correct. What is the question? The question is, what time is it? The second riddle is even more philosophical. What is more useful when it's broken? Alright, nothing philosophical here. It's actually just an egg. You break it to cook it. 2 down, 1 more to go, and Miranda gets the dream job. A cowboy rode into town on Friday. He stayed for 3 nights and rode out on Friday. How is this possible? No need to do complicated math here. His horse's name is Friday. Someone left an expensive watch at the hotel reception. 3 people claim it's theirs. Can you help the hotel worker figure out whose watch it really is? The First Lady does have a watch tan line, but it's much wider than the lost watch. This man already has a watch on his left hand. Why would he wear another one? The watch must belong to the elderly lady. Lena was skydiving when a strong gust of wind brought her to the forest. She landed among trees with no food or water. Soon she saw 4 roads in front of her. One led to a supermassive black hole that swallowed everything that got close. The second road ended in a sea full of sharks. The third led to a mountain that was impossible to climb over. And the fourth road ended in a bottomless abyss. Which road should Lena take? She should follow the third road. She can just go around that mountain. Bob was walking home late in the evening when he saw a young woman unconscious on the ground. He found her phone and called the first person on her call list, Anna. He said her friend was unconscious and she said she'd be there right away. She arrived before the police, and when they were there, they instantly arrested Anna. Why? Bob didn't tell Anna where to go, yet she arrived really fast. How did she know the address if she hadn't been the one who did it? Jen lost her card holder at the airport check-in stand. She suspects the agents who were checking her in and the cleaner who was nearby. But they both deny everything as they were busy doing their work. So, who took Jen's card holder? No one. Jen must be really nervous before the flight. She didn't notice putting her card holder in the outer pocket of her carry-on backpack. Tom is at a corporate party. His boss brings a bunch of identical envelopes and tells him she personally put a certificate for a trip to Hawaii in one of the envelopes. Tom really wants to go there with his girlfriend. Can you help him identify the right envelope? Look, his boss has plenty of sparkle on her face and hands. And only one envelope has the same sparkles on it. It must be the right one. Brittany is at her cousin's wedding and she's about to make a toast. But she forgets the name of her cousin's husband. She really wants to mention it in her toast. Can you help her out? His name is Derek. See that wedding poster on the far left corner of the room? Sheila and Derek, together forever. Aww. Bet just met a man of her dreams. He's handsome, smart, generous, and he seems to be very in love with her. The only weird thing about him is how he keeps bragging about his house, which is super luxurious. Once Bet agrees to visit. He hesitates, but after a few minutes, says she can come Thursday evening. Once at the house, Bet notices something really weird. What is it? There's a price list for anyone who wants to rent the house, and it's more expensive during the weekend. That's why the man invited her on Thursday. Oops. Mimi wants to get a smoothie at a buffet breakfast. It's in a foreign country, and for some reason, there's no English translation of the list of ingredients and allergens. Mimi can't eat strawberries, so it's important for her to avoid them. Which smoothie is safe for her to drink? This green one definitely doesn't have any strawberries in it. These berries would give it a red or at least a pinkish shade. The pink and purple smoothies could be risky. Someone locked Diego up in a tiny room with only one exit. The door is locked, but he can open it using a code. He doesn't know the code, but there's a little note next to the door that should help him. So, what's the code? There are 4 stars on that little piece of paper. The first one has 3 rays, the second has 6 rays, and the third one 7. And finally, the fourth one has 5 rays. So, the correct code is 3675.
Becky and Emma meet at a party. They're in line to the bathroom, but one of them is not human. Can you tell which one? You need to look at the girl's reflection in the mirror. Becky, on the left, has a weird shadow, but is still human. Emma's shadow, on the other hand, reveals she's actually a vampire. Vampires don't have shadows, remember? And do vampires even need to use the bathroom? Well, I can't answer that. Dan was walking his dog when a flower pot hit him on the head. He felt very dizzy and suspected that one of his neighbors had thrown the pot on purpose. He knocked on his neighbor's door to find out if they had done it, but the neighbor said they had just returned home less than 3 minutes ago. However, Dan saw something that proved they were lying. What was it? Well, the neighbors had something boiling on the stove when Dan arrived. Such a large pan doesn't boil in less than 3 minutes. They were definitely lying. 3 people were walking down the street when they saw a car parked in a prohibited place with the alarm going off. A police officer stopped the 3 of them and asked whose car it was. They all claimed the car was theirs. Which one was lying? The man in the suit is wearing a badge, and the same badge is hanging from the car's rearview mirror. There's also a university sticker on the car, which matches the one on the girl's notebook. They must be family and own the car. The delivery man is the one who's lying. One evening, at around 8 p.m., Henry decided to have dinner. When he walked into a restaurant, a customer and a waiter were arguing. The customer insisted that he had ordered soup, while the waiter said the customer had only ordered tea. Henry noticed something that immediately revealed who was lying. Can you figure it out? The customer is lying. Behind him, there's a huge sign that says the restaurant only serves soup from 1 to 4 p.m. So, no soup for you. Mandy was at the zoo when she had her handbag snatched. She didn't see the thief's face, but she noticed that he was wearing a zookeeper's uniform. Now, take a look at these 2 zookeepers feeding the animals. Which one is the thief? The thief is the one on the right. He's trying to feed a rhinoceros a piece of meat. This clearly shows he knows nothing about animals, since rhinos are vegetarians, thank goodness. It's Cindy's first day at her new job. Take a look at the picture. Can you tell who Cindy's boss is? I know he looks pretty young, but it's the guy on the left. His blazer is on the boss's chair. It was a lovely spring morning, so Margaret took her daughters to the park. She left her bag right beside her next to a stranger. After a few minutes, she noticed the bag was stolen. Can you figure out who the thief was? The person came out from the bush behind the bench where Margaret was seated. He was very quick, but you can still see the bush moving. Bernard is the owner of a meat shop downtown. He sells really expensive meat. That day's special was a premium bacon worth over $500. During the rush, he was so busy attending to customers that he didn't notice someone had stolen the bacon. Who's the thief here? It's the guy in the suit. The dog is sniffing his bag as if there's some bacon inside it. He's definitely the one. Tim always takes his lunch to work, but that day someone stole his burrito. He interviewed his colleagues to find the culprit. Helen, his boss, said she ordered sushi that day. Joe, who's highly allergic to gluten, said he brought his own food. And Beth, another co-worker, got a salad from the cafeteria. Take a look at the picture and find the culprit. It was Joe. His hands are severely swollen because he's allergic to the gluten in the burrito. Laurel, a high-profile detective, was leaving the supermarket when the police came rushing in asking for her help. A woman had robbed a jewelry store and was seen walking into that building. Can you tell which one of them is the thief? Take a look at the second cashier's long-sleeve shirt. It has a very shiny diamond necklace peeking out of it. She's most certainly the criminal. The airport police are having a lot of trouble these days. Many convicts escape prison and are trying to leave the country as fast as they can. Take a look at this image. Can you figure out who the fugitive is? It's the lady on the right. Although the woman in the wanted poster is blonde, she must have dyed her hair brown to try to get through security. But her lips and freckles are exactly the same as in the picture. Mabel's boyfriend decided to test her on how well she knew him. Each time she answered correctly, she would get 2 points. Each wrong answer would make her lose 2 points. He asked her 5 questions in total, and Mabel got 4 of them right. How many points did she score? Six points. 4 correct answers gave her 8 points, minus 2 points for 1 wrong answer. Isn't that a great relationship? You're dating a mathematics nerd. On your first date, he takes you to an ancient site and shows you the inscriptions marked on a wall. The inscriptions consist of a sequence of numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. But the other numbers are blurred. He asks you if you can figure out which numbers come next. Can you? The numbers that follow would be 13, 17, 19. This is a sequence of prime numbers, which can only be divided by 1 and themselves. When you arrive at the door of an old temple, the guardian of the temple gives you a vase with this equation written on it. It's your test to figure out the result. What's the answer, genius? The answer is XX, or 20 in our language. IX in Roman numerals stands for 9, while XI is 11. So the total sum is 20. Phil was the guardian of an ancient pyramid. Phil? Okay. He wrote a code down so his successors could find a hidden chamber. But he tore the note to make it more difficult for his enemies to find it. He tore it into 3 pieces, then took one of the pieces and tore it into 3 again. In the end, the note was divided into 9 pieces. How many times did he tear the paper? Four times. After the first rip, there were 3 pieces, then 5, then 7, then 9. Liam asked his brother to solve a riddle. If he got it right, he'd get $50. He told his brother that if he tripled the number he was thinking of, then added 6, he'd get 21. What was the number Liam was thinking of? The number was 5. 5 times 3 equals 15, plus 6 equals 21. Hey, time for blackjack, huh? Okay, here we go. Linda's a total master of disguise, and nothing fake gets past her sharp eyes. Take these 2 necklaces, for example. Can you tell which one is made with real pearls? Yep, you got it. Real pearls aren't all exactly the same size. She's also pro at reading people. Check out these 3 guys. They're all smiling and all, but one of them is totally faking it. Can you spot who's hiding their true feelings? Uh-oh, hot coffee with no sleeve? Ooh, that guy's hands must be on fire. Take a good look at this original painting. Cool. Now, we're gonna put a fake copy right next to it. Linda spotted 3 major differences. Think you can find them too? Nailed it! There they are! Warm-up is done, now it's mission time. During a science class, the school alarm suddenly goes off. Then Linda bursts in with a serious warning. A being from another planet has been spotted on campus, disguised as a student. You glance over at the 3 girls by the window. Something feels off. Can you spot it? Aha! Look at the blonde girl's reflection in the window. Her eyes are way too big, and the pupils are vertical. Yep, she's the extraterrestrial in disguise, and not a very good one. In the next room, the younger kids are deep into a spelling test. One student just handed in their answers, and Linda decides to take a peek. Can you spot the word that's spelled wrong? Yep, that's definitely not right. This school's got 5 doors, and the higher you go, the more teens you'll find hanging out and studying. Now, here's the question. Which floor does the elevator stop at the most? And the answer is floor number 1, of course. Everyone is going to pass through the first door, no matter where they're headed. Over in drama class, the freshmen are rehearsing for a spooky horror play. Among the extras are 3 new faces nobody really knows. The scene starts, the lights cut out, and then a wild, bone-chilling howl echoes through the room. Okay, time to figure it out. Which one of these extras is the werewolf in disguise? It's the guy with the dirt-stained clothes. The mud and grass on his shoes are real. Unlike the others, he's not just dressed for the part. He's been running around outside like a true creature of the night. Now it's the senior students' turn to hit the stage with their epic superhero play. And the villain will be Thanos. But wait a sec. Linda's sharp eyes catch something seriously off with the student's costume. Can you spot it too? Uh-oh. Now, Marvel fans know that the stone in the middle should be yellow, not gray. They have to fix it before showtime. Someone left a secret set list in the music room. 3 songs are already written on the whiteboard, but can you figure out what the 4th one is? All of these songs are from the Beatles. After figuring that out, it's pretty easy to guess that the last one is twist and shout. The next day, Linda heads to a summer pool party where 3 women are swimming peacefully in the pool. But then, she hears this mesmerizing sound that starts drawing people in. There might be a mermaid among them, but who is it? The woman with the swimming cap has been underwater the whole time. That means she could have a tail hidden away, out of sight from everyone. Yep, she is the mermaid. Linda needs to freshen up, so she hurries over to grab a drink. The waiter presents her with 3 options, each in a different type of glass. But one of them is definitely not safe to drink. Can you figure out which one? Take a look at the menu on the counter. They have only orange, strawberry, and pineapple juice. So, what's that green liquid doing there? Yeah, that's sus. Suddenly, a woman asks for help. She can't find her purse among all the others left by the party guests. But she gives one helpful clue. Her bag has no clasp. Can you spot it? Awesome, there it is! Our disguise expert suddenly gets called in by the police. It's Halloween night, and a woman reports she was robbed by someone dressed in a doctor's costume. Can you figure out who the thief is? This is our suspect. Look closely. Why would someone in a doctor costume be wearing a fancy necklace? That doesn't add up. That's clearly the victim's jewels. The officers have one more favor to ask Linda. At the airport, a guy claims he's from Portugal, but the police need proof he is lying. So they lay out everything from his suitcase. Is there anything here that gives him away? Time's up! Portugal is in Europe, and European passports are dark red, not green. So yeah, he's definitely not telling the truth. Outside in the park, Linda spots a bunch of animals wandering and flying around freely. But wait, one of them isn't actually an animal at all. It's just a prop, like a statue. Can you tell which one is fake? Well, it's daytime, and we all know how rare it is to see an owl out in the sun. That's the fake animal for sure. A worried mom asks Linda for help. She thinks her teenage daughter, Lisa, snuck out last night to go to a friend's birthday party. But the teen insists, "Mom, I swear I stayed home all night." So, is she telling the truth, or is she totally busted? She is lying. Look closely. There's a birthday hat sitting right there on the table. That's proof she did go to the party. Now, the mom wants to unlock Lisa's phone to find out what time she got home. The passcode has 4 digits, and it's the year of her birth. Here's the clue. Linda was born the same year the Olympic Games were held in Beijing. Can you remember when that was? Option C, 2008, is the right answer. Linda notices 3 maids cleaning the upper floor. Then Lisa whispers, "There's a legend that an old maid passed away here, and sometimes she still shows up." Now look closely. Can you tell which one of them is the ghost? Check out the maid making the bed. She doesn't show up in the mirror right next to her. Yup, she's the ghost. Linda gets home and meets her husband, Ben.
Hey!
He's got 3 baseball caps, a blue one for sunny days, a green one for lucky days, and a red one for rainy days. So, which cap should he pick today? Well, check it out. Ben's wearing his rain boots. That means it's raining outside, so he must pick the red one. When Linda walks into her bedroom, she gets a huge shock. When she left the house, her room looked like this, but now it looks like this. Take a look at the 2 pictures. Can you figure out what's gone missing? Her robe and socks are missing. But don't worry. Looks like her husband just borrowed them. Really? Linda cooks up a nice piece of meat for dinner, but before she digs in, she heads to wash her hands. When she comes back, her food is gone. One of her 3 dogs is looking kinda guilty. At the time her dinner disappeared, Toby, the Dalmatian, was playing with a ball in the living room. Bella, the Labrador, was running around outside, and Cooper, the Bulldog, was napping on the couch. But something about their stories doesn't quite add up. So, who took her dinner? Just look at the window and you'll see that it's raining. If Bella the Lab really was running outside, she'd be soaking wet. But her fur is totally dry, so she's the main suspect. Now it's finally time for Linda's night routine. Take a look at all these items and think carefully what definitely shouldn't be used before going to bed. The black tea should be avoided at all costs, as it contains caffeine, and Linda needs to sleep, not be tossing and turning all night.
3 cats can catch 3 mice in 3 minutes. How long will it take 10 cats to catch 10 mice? The same 3 minutes. No more, no less. There are 100 books on the shelf. To count off 10 of them, you need 10 seconds. How much time will you spend counting off 80 books? Just 20 seconds. You'll need this time to count off 20 books, and the rest will make 80. Smart, right? Even when it passes in front of the sun, it doesn't cast a shadow. What is it? It's the wind. Now let's get down to some serious stuff. Someone stole the money Michael kept in his safe. After watching the security footage, the police figured out that it had happened at midnight. They questioned 3 suspects. Hannah said she'd gone to bed at 10 p.m. and fallen asleep right away. Liam told the detective he'd been watching TV from 11:45 p.m. to 1 a.m. And Aiden said he'd been with his friends, partying all night. The police arrested the thief. Who was it? It was Liam. He was suspiciously specific about the time. A man came to a jewelry store planning to buy an expensive diamond ring for his wife, but someone stole his wallet right in the store. The manager called the police and asked all the visitors who were inside at the time to stay until the officer's arrival. The police arrived and examined the people attentively. Soon, they knew who had taken the wallet. Can you figure it out too? It's the man in the middle. He has a bandage on his right arm, but it's wrapped over the sleeve of his jacket, not hidden under it like a real bandage would be. Detective Theodore Mitchell worked undercover at a luxurious resort. The police suspected that the hotel owners were involved in some shady deals. Theodore's main task was to sneak into the manager's office and check the documents. But the door was locked, and there was a combination lock. Theodore had to solve a math riddle, and the answer would be the code. As soon as he punched in the code, the door opened. What was the correct number? The code was 30. There are no mathematical symbols at the end of the first and second lines. It means the whole thing looks like this. A police officer knocks on the door. A man opens it. The officer informs the man that a plant pot fell out of his window an hour ago and hit a woman on the head. She's not badly hurt, but now the man needs to compensate this woman for the damage. The man lets the officer inside, but argues that the situation can't be true. He claims that his windows were closed an hour ago because he has just returned home. The officer knows that the man is lying. How has he figured it out? The police officer spotted a pan with boiling water in the kitchen. If the man indeed came home just a few minutes ago, the water wouldn't have had enough time to start boiling. 3 men were swimming in the sea. The weather was getting worse, and a coast guard asked them to leave the water. But when they got back to the shore, only 2 of the men had wet hair. Why? The third man was bald. A gust of wind blew a $100 bill out of the hands of a grocery store owner. The money seemed to have vanished into thin air. But in reality, one of the customers must have taken the bill. But no one wanted to admit to stealing the money. The woman was especially indignant and suggested that her bag should be checked. A security guard asked her to follow him to the office, but she refused to go. After that, the guard called the police. Why? The woman was standing on the $100 bill. If she followed the guard, everyone would see the money. A man found himself on an island inhabited by a tribe of savages. The tribespeople locked him in a house with only 2 exits. One of the doors led to freedom, while the other led to demise. 2 guards were in the house with him. One of them always told the truth, and the other always lied. The man was allowed to ask only one question to one of them. Of course, he didn't know which of them was the honest person and which one was the liar. What question should he ask to find the correct exit and save his life? The question he should ask is, what would your companion say if I asked which door leads to freedom? No matter who he asks, the answer will always be the wrong door. So, he should open the opposite door. It'll lead to freedom. One day, posters were put up in one of Prague's main squares. They read, "Beware of pickpockets." The local police knew that there were indeed many pickpockets in the area, but they actively tore down these posters. Why? There were many tourists in this square. The pickpockets themselves put up these posters. This made their job easier. People who read the announcement would instinctively check their valuables to make sure they were still there. At that moment, the thieves would watch them and figure out exactly where their targets kept their belongings. The police, realizing this trick, tore down the posters to prevent people from unknowingly helping the thieves rob them. Mary lived in a luxurious mansion. One day, she discovered that all her jewelry had mysteriously disappeared. The police arrived at the crime scene and realized that the theft had occurred very recently. They questioned 4 people who were in the house at the time of the incident. The gardener said he'd been tending the flower beds in the garden all morning. His hands were covered in green and brown stains from plants and soil. The builder claimed he'd been working in the yard, repairing the fence. His hands had splinters and small scratches. Mary's niece stated that she had been swimming in the pool all morning. And the maid said she had been cleaning the windows, so she was still wearing silicone gloves. The detective asked everyone to show their hands and immediately realized who was lying. Who is the thief? The niece. If she had really been in the pool all morning, her fingers would have been wrinkled. Elijah went on a cruise. On the third day, he noticed that one of the staff members was an imposter. Look at them attentively and try to guess who it is. This waitress is actually hiding a police badge under her floral garland. She must be undercover. A precious 16th century brooch has been stolen from its glass display case in a museum. The only person who has entered it is the cleaning lady, Mrs. Douglas, who's been working there for 20 years. After examining the crime scene, the detective, who has come to investigate the case, arrests Mrs. Douglas. Why? Mrs. Douglas's habit let her down. After breaking the display case and taking the brooch, she carefully cleaned up the glass shards. A very famous painting disappeared from a museum. Later, the police managed to find it, but there was a problem. They found not one, but 3 paintings. Only one of them is original. The others are just copies. Can you help the police figure out which is the original painting? It's the one with the brown frame. Take a look. All frames in the museum are made in the same style.
Hey, think you're a master of logic? Get ready to twist your brain into knots with these mind-bending riddles. 2 patients are in the hospital and connected to IVs that are keeping them alive. The guy is about to cut the girl's IV tube, but she's alert and ready to cut his IV tube any second. Oops! Who is in real danger here and why? Well, both of them are in danger. The IV tubes are crossed. The guy's IV bag is connected to the girl, and the girl's IV bag is connected to the guy. If either of them cuts the other's tube, they will actually cut off their own supply. Nye, nye, nye. Now this one is for the sharpest eyes only. Can you tell which of these ladies lives alone just by looking at the pictures? The woman on the left is not alone. There are 2 towels in the background, so someone else must be sharing the bathroom with her. Sally was dreaming about going on a road trip to Europe with her besties, but her parents didn't let her go. Instead, they gave her the money to join a knitting camp in Ohio. Everyone was happy until they demanded that she send them a photo. They instantly knew she was lying. How did they find out? Sally was smart enough to bring yarn and make her friends pretend they were avid knitters. But what is that in the background? Looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. They did go to Europe after all. The guy of her dreams just asked Liza out on a dream getaway for the weekend. The flight is leaving in less than 3 hours, and she literally has only a minute to get ready. Her closet is a total mess, and the only light bulb is out. She needs to find a pair of socks in this huge box in the dark. All of the socks are in her favorite colors, red, white, and blue. How many socks does she need to grab so she gets at least 1 pair of the same color? Luckily for her, Liza just needs to grab 4 socks. Even if 3 of them are all mismatching, the 4th one should match with one of the others. 2 happy couples just had the weddings of their dreams and posted photos to make everyone else jealous. But it looks like only one couple is actually wealthy enough to afford this wedding. Can you tell who's lying here? The couple on the right are faking it. Look closely, the setting isn't real. They are not at a tropical island, but at a photo studio. The couple on the left panel are truly wealthy. They are on a luxurious tropical vacation at a private beach. Aria's favorite author, Bella Wright, is coming to town for a book signing, but the only way to get a ticket is to solve a riddle the event organizer posted online. DEEF. Can you help Aria figure it out? It's feedback. Feed spelled backwards. Sarah checks into the Starlight Hotel. In the lobby, 3 porters offer to take care of her luggage. She has some really expensive clothes and watches inside, so she needs to be careful. Can you guess which of the porters she can trust with her stuff? The first porter has a uniform with the logo and name of a different hotel. The second porter has 2 golden watches, one on his left hand and one on his right. Looks like the left watch is too big for him, so he probably stole it. The third porter looks totally normal, so Sarah should choose him. Oh no, this girl is about to be eaten by a shark. Or is she? What happened here, and how did she survive? Look at her wristband. She's at an amusement park. The shark isn't real. Strange amusement if you ask me, but I hope she's having fun. Michael is a huge coffee fan, but he decided to try something new this year. Now, he drinks 1 cup of coffee every day, but on even days of the month, he also has a cup of matcha latte. How many cups of matcha latte will he have this year? All months but February have 30 or 31 days. There are usually 15 even days in each of those 11 months. If we multiply 15 by 11, we get 165 days. If there are 14 even days in February, then the total number of matcha lattes Michael will have in a year is 179. That's a lot of caffeine. Someone stole a tiny but really rare and expensive painting during an art exhibition. The detective arrived on the spot and found 3 suspects who were standing close to the crime scene. Of course, each of them claims it was not them. Liza says, "I want to run for mayor of the town. Why would I risk my reputation like this?" Anna says, "Excuse me, but I'm a billionaire. I have enough money to buy this entire gallery, so why would I steal?" Sammy, who works as a receptionist at the art gallery, says, "I had no idea this painting was so expensive. I'm new here. Who's lying?" Look at Anna's bag. Chanel is clearly misspelled, so it's a fake. Why would a billionaire wear it? I don't think so. She must be the real thief. Chucky and Lucky are twins. They were born in October, but their birthday is in November. How is this possible? October could be the name of their town, and November is the real birth month. Sam sees the girl of his dreams and instantly falls in love with her. He wants to know everything about her, but she refuses to share any information unless he solves a riddle. I'm twice as old as my sister, but in 10 years, I'll only be 1.5 times her age. How old am I now? Looks like his love is 20, and her sister is 10 years old. The girl didn't expect Sam to solve the riddle so easily. So now she wants him to solve another one before she tells him her name. She points to her car parked nearby. It's right there on my license plate. Can you figure out her name from this combination? Try reading it upside down. Her name is Amelia. The police arrived at a luxury beach resort early one morning. The night before, someone attacked the lifeguard and left him unconscious on the beach. 3 guests were suspected: Bella, Mark, and Sophie. The police searched their rooms for clues, and here's what they found. Can you tell who attacked the lifeguard by looking at these rooms? It was Sophie. She had no swimming gear or items for relaxing at the beach, so she wasn't at the resort for typical beach activities. She must have had a different reason for being there. Perhaps the boyfriend was Michael the lifeguard from the previous question, who is now hitting on Amelia. Just guessing. Let's move on. Mickey has 10 coins in his pocket, worth a total value of $1.55. One of them is not a dime. What coins does he have? It must be $1/2, 1 nickel, and 8 dimes. No one told you only one coin isn't a dime. Sandra decided to play a quiz game. She's asking the same question to everyone she meets, and each time she gets a different answer. Can you guess what the question is? What time is it now? Uh-oh, an evil AI genius has locked you in and makes you solve riddles to entertain them. You've been doing great so far, but one final riddle is the most important, as it will open the door. Please don't panic and try to solve it ASAP. Did you get it? 9:50 is 10 to 10, so it must be the villain's favorite time of the day. Yes, you're free to go now. Bye.
The day of the Interschool Wizard Duel had finally arrived. Moonshade Academy was receiving students from the nearby schools when Alex, Mira, and Theo noticed something strange. They had left their wands above a counter in the main hall, but now they were all gone. To compete, they needed to find their wands in under 10 minutes. Take a look at the image and see if you can find any clue about where the wands might be. Well, what about those muddy footprints leading to the potions room? Those look pretty suspicious, so the 3 wizards decide to follow them all the way to the next room. When they arrived, they found a disturbing scenario. The potion cabinet was open and lots of potions were missing. These thieves were planning on cheating their way to the top. There were 3 potions left that could help them find their wands. The first one, with the image of an ear, replayed sounds of the past, so they could hear everything that happened in the room. The second one, with an eye on it, revealed traces of magical objects. The third one, with a dog on it, enhanced the sense of smell, so they could sniff any object they wanted to. Which potion should they use? Let's see. The first one wouldn't help them locate their wands, and the third one would probably be a bit confusing since there were 3 wands to locate. So they should definitely use the sight potion and track the traces of all magical objects moved until they found their wands. The potion led them all the way down to the dungeon where Moonshade students kept their dragons. When they arrived, they noticed that their dragons were super stressed. Actually, Mira's dragon looked like it was about to get sick. Take a look at the image. Can you spot the reason why Mira's dragon is not feeling well? If you have a good eye, you've definitely got this one right. The faint blue trace of the magic potion led all the way to Mira's dragon's belly. There are 3 blue lights shining inside her dragon's belly. These must be the lost wands. The thieves probably hid it in the dragon food and made Mira's dragon eat them to hide them. Yikes! The trio gave Mira's dragon a potion to get their wands out and ran back to the main hall for the start of the tournament. As soon as they got back to the main salon, the headmaster announced that a dangerous criminal had escaped from a high-security prison and was hiding amongst the students. Alex was chosen to identify the criminal. He narrowed the suspects down to 3 people. The first girl was dressed in a scuba costume. She said she had been on a mission to free a mermaid. The second woman was dressed in a dirty wedding gown. She said she had just arrived from a parallel reality where she saved a bride from a terrible villain. The third woman had her school uniform, but it was burnt. She said she was practicing spells and one of them went terribly wrong, so she almost put herself on fire. Can you guess who the criminal is? It's the third woman. She had no wand with her, so she couldn't have been practicing spells. Plus, the uniform is too small. She probably stole it from one of the real students. Then, it was Theo's time to prove his talents. He was left at a crossroads. Before him, there were 3 roads. One led him to a safe town, the second one to a dangerous forest, and the third to a mountain pass full of rocky debris. There were magical beings standing on the entrance to each road, and they could each answer one question. Theo decided to ask them all the same question. He asked them which road led to the safe town. The creature guarding the first path said that if he wanted to reach town, this wasn't the road. The second creature said that that was the road Theo needed. And the third creature said that if he took the first road, he would get lost. Which road should Theo take to get to the safe town? He should take the third road. The last creature was the only one who didn't talk about his specific road, but rather another one. So he should go down the third road to get to the safe town. The next task got a bit more complicated. Mira needed to cross the everlasting sands, a dangerous desert. She had 6 days to do it on camelback, but there was a catch. She could only carry enough food for 4 days and needed to be the sole person to do the complete journey. She could invite other people to tag along and help her, but only for a few days. These extra people could take extra food and share it all amongst them. How many friends do you think she should invite so that there's enough food for everyone? Let's see. She'll need to invite at least 2 people. Let's say Theo and Alex decided they wanted to tag along. By the end of the first day, they'll have enough food for 9 days. If they ate the equivalent of 3 days of food from Theo's bag, Alex would still have 1 day of food left to head back home and not need to cross the desert. Mira and Theo can continue the crossing with an 8-day food package. At the end of the second day, the total food supply will be reduced to a 6-day package. Now, Theo will have enough food for 2 days in his package, and he can head back home. This will help Mira to finish the 4 last days by herself. Yikes! This tournament is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Now it was Theo's turn to compete. He needed to cross a portal into a dark forest and look for a witch's house. He could only come back after retaining a strand of the witch's hair. After walking a few miles in the dark, he found the witch's house. The witch said she would willingly give him a strand of her hair if he helped her find a hawk's feather that went missing from her cabinet. The witch suspected one of her elves had taken it, so Theo went to investigate the case. Arian said that he was out all day picking berries with the fairies. Elowin said he spent the day at another witch's house testing an anti-aging potion. Ilaria was sorting out the bad herbs from the garden and didn't notice anything weird going on in the house. Theo immediately knew what had happened. Take a look at the picture. Can you figure it out too? It wasn't any of the elves. Theo noticed that the feather had fallen down and was stuck in a crack on the floor. These three guys went to jail for attempting the biggest heist of all time in New York City. They've been there for 10 years now, but it looks like one of them is going to escape tonight. Albie is reading a book pretty calmly, although it looks like he's sitting on top of something suspicious. Frank is doing his regular workout routine. By now, he's so strong he could climb a wall. And Tom is celebrating his birthday for the first time in 10 years. Which one is about to run away from prison? It's Tom. Take a look at the birthday cake again. It looks like there's a master key hidden in there. Somerville Hospital is on the lookout for a fake nurse, since a convict escaped prison and has been pretending to be a healthcare professional. Take a look at the image. Amy is about to draw some blood from her patient, while Lucy is about to give her patient a flu shot. Can you tell which one of them is the fake nurse? Why, it's Lucy! She doesn't have a syringe on her tray. How is she gonna apply the shot? Carla and Becky decided to cook a banquet dinner for their husbands. Carla cooked a nice codfish, while Becky made her husband's favorite lasagna. At the end of dinner, both of them ended up at the hospital. After the results came, it seemed that one of the husbands had actually been poisoned. Take a look at the wives again. Which one poisoned their husband? It was Carla. Take a look at the knife she used to cut the codfish. It had some green stuff glued to it. It must be the poison. You arrive at a Halloween party. The party's main attraction is entering a room with a real horror story character inside. In the first room, there's a bloodthirsty vampire. In the second room, there's a handcuffed Frankenstein monster. And in the third room, there's a very bad-looking zombie. Which room would you be safer going in? The second room. Since the guy's hands are handcuffed, he can't really hurt you. A vampire, a werewolf, and a zombie need rescuing. Take a look at the image. Which one of them do you think you can rescue safely? Let's see. It's super sunny outside, so the vampire probably wouldn't make it out. The zombie would eat your brain before you can help him out. This leaves us the werewolf. And since it's daylight, this means he's in his human form, so you can rescue him safely. Brandy and Michelle were both accused of being a vampire after they posted these pictures online. Take a look at them. Which one is a real vampire? It's Brandy, the blonde girl on the left. If you look closely, you can't see her reflection in the mirror. She must be a vampire. Jack works at the morgue. He's doing his morning rounds, checking on all the new arrivals when he feels something touch his leg. His heart starts beating really fast. How could this be possible? Take a look at the image. Can you figure out which of these bodies is still alive? It's the one on the right side. If you check it out, his hand is poking out of the bed. He must still be alive. Mrs. Collins went on a business trip and her daughter Bella stayed in the house alone. Her mother knew the girl wanted to invite some friends over, so she allowed Bella to invite a total of 3 friends. Mrs. Collins asked a neighbor to keep an eye on her daughter. Later that night, when the neighbor came over to Mrs. Collins' house, this is what she saw. Take a look at the image. Can you guess how many friends Bella invited over? Let's see. There's a total of 3 cars, 3 bicycles, and 2 scooters. One of the cars has a bumper sticker that spells Bella, so this is definitely her car. but the rest of the vehicles probably belonged to Bella's friends. This means she had at least 6 friends over at her house. Jason received a note from a girl in his school asking him out, but the girl forgot to sign her name on the letter. He had no idea who she was, only that she was in his class. Take a look around. Which girl do you think sent him the letter? Well, the letter was written in a red pen. So, the girl who sent it to him was probably the one on the left, using the red inked pen. A police officer was following a robber around the city. Suddenly, the robber entered the hospital and disappeared. When the police officer entered the building, there were 3 workers. One of them must be the robber who is pretending to be a patient. Can you identify this person? It definitely can't be this pregnant woman. It's also not the old man holding on to a wheelchair. It's the last man. He's pretending to be blind, but hey, he doesn't have a walking stick. I bet it's the robber wearing shades pretending he's blind. It's a normal Sunday at the park, but uh-oh. Take a look at these 3 people. One of them isn't human. Which one is it? It's the woman operating the ice cream truck. Look at her hand. It's green, and it's not a glove. She's only pretending to be human, that's for sure. Sylvie was walking in a forest late at night. It was a Scorpio full moon, and she wanted to soak herself and her crystals in some moonlight. When she was heading back home, she heard some howling. Out of nowhere, there were 3 werewolves in front of her. She got scared, but that's when she noticed that one of them wasn't a real werewolf. Can you guess which one is a fake werewolf? It's the one on the left. If you look closely, you'll find there's a zipper on his chest. He's clearly wearing a costume. Bob was one of the best watchmakers in town. He got a call from the police station one day, asking him for help to solve a crime. 2 burglars were caught robbing shops in town. Amongst the things they stole, there were 2 watches. One of the burglars claimed that the watch they stole was a fake. So, the police contacted Bob to see if that was really true. Take a look at both watches. Can you help Bob figure out which one is fake and which one is real? The watch on the left is a fake. If you look closely, you'll see that the minute arm is too long, so it can't pass around the entire clock when it moves. Mary was walking in an enchanted forest when she met Randy, a magical unicorn. Mary asked the unicorn for some information, but he refused to talk to her unless she solved one of his riddles. He was a trickster and liked confusing people with his riddles. He told Mary that in a nearby field there were tigers and sheep. Usually one tiger could catch 3 sheep in 3 minutes. So, he asked her how long it would take 100 tigers to catch 100 sheep. Can you help Mary figure out the answer? It would still take 3 minutes because each tiger is still catching 1 sheep in 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's 3 tigers or 100. Beth's best friend from school showed her a picture and asked her to figure out who in the picture wasn't human. She'd get a week's supply of free candy if she could do it. Can you help Beth figure out the answer? It's the boy in the middle. He doesn't have a shadow, which means he's definitely not human.
Psst. Hey, you, the best brain of Brightside. Your help is needed. Listen up. It was Amelia's dream to become the world's most renowned detective. But to get into the Global Detective Academy, she needed to pass a tough entrance exam. First, she got an image and had to spot what was wrong with it as fast as possible. Here it is. Look at it very carefully. Can you help Amelia figure out what's wrong? The electric clock on the table shows 10 a.m. But if you look out of the window, you'll see the night sky with stars. Something doesn't add up. As the next task, Amelia had to investigate the theft of an extremely valuable painting from a private gallery. 3 people had appeared next to the gallery before the crime occurred: Jessica, who had been sketching in her notebook; Oliver, who claimed to have been installing the lights; and Sophie, who said she had been simply admiring the artwork. Amelia immediately understood who was guilty. Can you figure it out? Look closely at Jessica's notebook. Among her sketches, there is a detailed drawing of the stolen painting. Most likely, she took it to copy it. The next trial for Amelia, at a grand gala. Mia's diamond necklace mysteriously disappeared. 3 guests had come close to her just before it happened. Catherine looked like she was adjusting her hair. Sarah seemed to be texting on her phone. And Emma was picking up a dropped napkin. Can you help Amelia figure out who took the necklace? Whoa, take a look at Catherine's hand. She's holding a hairpin, but there's something shiny tucked in her other hand. It must be the necklace. 3 women, Alice, Bianca, and Clara, were having coffee at a local cafe. One of them was a millionaire, but she kept it in secret and went to great lengths to hide her wealth. Amelia had to figure out which woman it was. This test was supposed to check how attentive she was. Let's have a good look at these women. Alice is wearing a simple but stylish outfit. She also has a small, elegant purse and is sipping her coffee quietly. Bianca is dressed in trendy designer clothes and has a flashy handbag. She is talking loudly about her recent shopping spree. And Clara is dressed modestly in a plain white turtleneck and jeans. She has a plain leather-bound notebook. This notebook is what gives her away. Have you noticed that the corners of its pages are gilded with gold leaf? It's actually a luxury touch that most people wouldn't pay attention to, but which is commonly found in custom-made items for the wealthy. So Clara is that secret millionaire. Amelia's next task was very unusual. She had to help Jonathan, a renowned monster hunter. One night, he was called to an old mansion. People living nearby claimed to hear strange noises coming from the building. Jonathan told Amelia that the monster was hiding in one of the 3 rooms. The first room had a roaring fireplace, the second was a library, and the third was a dining hall. Can you help Amelia and Jonathan find the monster? Check the fireplace room. The flames are flickering in a very bizarre way, forming eye shapes. A fire monster must be hiding in there. And finally, the last task for Amelia. If she cracks this mystery, she'll become a trainee detective. At an art school gallery, a famous sculpture was found broken. 3 students were the last ones to be in the gallery. Mark was supposedly cleaning the floor. Lisa claimed she had been arranging the flowers. And Alex said he had been checking his phone. Amelia figured out who had broken the sculpture very fast. Can you do the same? Look at Lisa's flowers. They're fake, and the wires used to hold them up match the broken pieces of the sculpture's internal structure. So the girl must have been the one who tampered with it. Well, Amelia got the title of trainee detective. Yes! And this was her first real case, to pass a flash drive with secret information to an undercover detective from a different city. The exchange had to be discreet and had to happen in plain sight on a plane high up in the sky. The only problem? Amelia had lost the file with the information about the detective. Uh-oh. How would she recognize them? So our trainee boarded the plane and saw 2 flight attendants, Emily and Sarah. One of them was the detective Amelia needed. But which one? Can you help Amelia? Let's have a better look. Emily is wearing a uniform with a white vest and light-colored buttons. Those are standard buttons with no special features, so she must be performing her regular duties. But one of the buttons on Sarah's uniform is equipped with a tiny camera for gathering information. Have you paid attention to that red light? So Sarah is the detective Amelia needs. Amelia was called to an accident site. A young man was hit by a minivan, which sped away right after the accident. The guy was immediately taken to a hospital, but luckily he was okay. Even better, there were a few witnesses Amelia managed to question. They described the vehicle, which was pretty unique, and Amelia headed to the house of one of the suspects. She saw a car which resembled the one in the description, but when she talked to its owner, the man claimed he had spent all day at home. Amelia realized that the suspect was lying right away. How did she figure it out? Our trainee detective touched the hood of the car and felt it was still hot from the engine, so the man must have just returned.
Oh no!
A rich man's wife disappeared from the hotel where she was staying. Amelia, who came to investigate this case, decided to question her husband. The man was on his own island. When Amelia finally arrived there, he told her that he had been there for the last 3 months. He explained that he was writing a book and asked his family and staff not to come and distract him. He added that over the past several weeks, he had been working non-stop from early morning to late evening without leaving his bungalow. Amelia knew right away that the man was lying. How did she figure it out? There's just one thick notebook and a pen on the man's desk. If he had been writing as much as he claimed, the ink in the pen would have finished long ago. Amelia was on a train on the way to investigate her next case. She was lucky to have nice fellow travelers. They were talking when the train entered a tunnel. Everything was plunged into darkness for several minutes. When the train left the tunnel, John, one of the passengers, noticed that his diamond tie pin was missing. The passengers were shocked, but then Amelia announced that she knew who had taken the pin. She added that she had seen it, but it was dark. How could she see someone take the pin? One of the travelers had a watch with luminous hands, and when this guy moved his hand to take the pin, Amelia noticed it. Mr. Dillon was quite famous in the city. He had a store where he sold beautiful, rare vases. One day, the man called the police and Amelia got this case. When she arrived at the store, Mr. Dillon had his head bandaged and the room was a mess. The man told her that some guys had run into his store and grabbed the money and the most expensive vases. Then they hit him on the head and he blacked out. Amelia immediately understood that Mr. Dillon was lying to get the insurance money. How did she figure it out? Even though most of the vases are on the floor, they aren't damaged in any way, not even cracked. But if the vases had fallen down from the shelves during the robbery, they would surely have been shattered.
Oh no.
It seems Amelia is going to make a great detective. What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments.
It wasn't Sam's luckiest day. He woke up in a high-tech lab and found a bizarre note next to the sofa he was lying on. The tiny piece of paper claimed that the guy had to complete a series of tests to escape. First of all, he had to choose one of 3 rooms. The first room had a locked door with a security code. The second room was guarded by a terrifying robot that was supposed to charge at anyone who entered. And the third room had a timer set to 60 seconds and a large container with water. Which room should Sam pick to survive? He should opt for the third room with the timer and the container of water. He can pour the water on the timer, and most likely the timer will short-circuit and shut off. Sam managed to escape the lab, but then he faced the next hurdle. There were 3 doors in front of him, each guarded by a different girl. Sam saw a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. Each girl gave him a hint about the correct door. The blonde said, "Choose my door if you want to get out." The brunette said, "The redhead's door leads to a trap." And the redhead said, "The blonde is lying." Can you figure out which door Sam should choose and why? Sam should pick the brunette's door. If the redhead is telling the truth that the blonde is lying, then the blonde's door does not lead to freedom. If the brunette says the redhead's door leads to a trap and the redhead is lying, then the redhead's door does indeed lead to a trap. Therefore, the safest option is the brunette's door. Sam got into the next room. There were 3 levers there. The first lever released a cloud of smoke. The second lever triggered an alarm. And the third lever opened a trap door. Can you help the guy choose which lever to pull? Sam should pull the third lever that opens the trap door. It may give him a way out. Meanwhile, the smoke and alarm are likely to be just distractions or warnings. So, Sam pulled the third lever. The floor disappeared from under his feet and the guys fell down into a dark tunnel. In a few seconds, he found himself in another lab. On the table, he spotted 2 beakers. One beaker contained a harmless liquid, while in the other, there was a dangerous acid. There were labels on each beaker. One claimed harmless liquid, and the other said dangerous acid. Sam knew that the labels could have been swapped. How can the guy safely test the liquids without getting harmed? Sam can pour a small amount of liquid from the beaker labeled harmless liquid into a test tube. If it reacts violently, then the label is wrong, and it's the dangerous acid. If there's no reaction, then it's most likely indeed harmless, and the other beaker must contain the acid. Soon, Sam heard 3 different sounds coming from 3 different vents. A buzzing sound, a whistling sound, and a thumping sound. On the table, he saw one more note saying, "The safest path is the one that sounds the least alarming." The choice is all yours, Sammy. Do you know which vent he should opt for? Sam should crawl into the vent with the whistling sound. It's less alarming compared to the buzzing, which could mean serious electrical issues, or the thumping, which might be some dangerous machinery. The vent with the whistling sound turned out to be safe, and Sam got into a lab with 2 doors. Behind one of the doors, there was a dance-off with a group of girls who wouldn't stop dancing. And behind the other door, there was the only exit. But how can Sam figure out which door leads to freedom? Can you help him solve this mystery? Sam should close his eyes and cover his ears and try to feel vibrations. They'll be coming from the door behind which the dancing competition is taking place. After figuring it out, Sam should leave through the other door. Finally, Sam was on the brink of escaping the lab, but he faced one last obstacle. 3 girls were standing in front of him, and each was holding some item. One of the girls was the lab owner, while the other 2 could guide Sam to freedom. Sam had to figure out which of them was the lab owner based on the items the girls were holding. The blonde was holding a mirror which could reflect the truth but wouldn't help to escape. The brunette had a book with a lock. This book could be useful but was currently inaccessible. And the redhead carried a key that could unlock the way to freedom, but only if it was in the right hands. Have you already guessed which of the girls is the lab owner? The lab owner is the smiling girl with the locked book. It indicates that she holds the secrets of the lab. The mirror provides no useful information at the moment, but the key held by the redhead can help Sam escape. He should use the key to unlock the door to freedom. After getting away from the lab and its insane owner, Sam thought that his adventures had finished. Unfortunately, it was just wishful thinking. He was just walking home from work when he heard screams coming from a nearby house. Sam rushed in to help. Soon, he found himself in a basement. As soon as he walked in, the door behind him slammed shut, and 3 portals opened in front of the guy. The first portal was filled with giant venomous spiders. The second portal led to a cave filled with scorpions. In the third portal, 7 hungry lions were waiting for their future dinner. Which portal should Sam choose to survive? The guy should opt for the second portal. Despite widespread stereotypes, scorpion stings are rarely life-threatening. If Sam is careful enough, he can get out of this tricky situation mostly unscathed. Unfortunately, the cave Sam ended up in was so huge that the guy got lost. After some time, he came across 2 people, a man and a young lady. The man had a large unkempt beard and was quite rough-looking. He also had a shovel in his hands. He said that he'd been stuck in the cave for a week. He promised he knew how to get to the surface, but he needed Sam's help. The young woman warned Sam, telling him not to trust the man. He was a criminal. She told Sam to follow her since she had been stuck in the cave way longer than the man. And finally, she had to figure out where the exit was. What do you think? Who should Sam believe? Sam decided to follow the man. If the girl had been in the cave for so long, why did she look so tidy and have fresh flowers in her hair? Right after Sam returned to his native town, a terrible storm happened there. It caused a serious blackout. Using the darkness, some criminals locked Sam away. The building where he was kept had 3 doors. Sam could use one of them to escape. But the first door hid a trap that would crush anyone as soon as they entered. Behind the second door, there were chainsaws that could cut anything into pieces in no time. And flesh-eating acid was bubbling behind the third door. Which door should Sam pick to survive? Chainsaws can't harm the guy because there's no electricity in the town after the storm. On a sunny morning, Sam decided to go for a walk in the jungle. All of a sudden, the path he was walking along split into 3 smaller roads. One led to a dangerous marsh swallowing everything and everybody that got there. The second road led to vampire hunting grounds. And the third path took travelers to an active volcano filled with red-hot lava. Which road is the safest? Sam should opt for the second path. Even if vampires did exist, they wouldn't show up in bright daylight. Are you ready to flex those brain muscles and level up your smarts? Let's start. You're in a dark room with 3 light bulbs. There are 3 switches in the corridor. Your task is to figure out which switch controls which light bulb. How many times do you need to open the door to do it? Actually, just once. Turn on 2 switches at the same time, and after a while, turn off the second one. Now enter the room. 1 light bulb is still on. The first switch controls it. Now all you have to do is touch the remaining bulbs. The warm one is linked to the second switch, and the cold one is controlled by the third. A guy likes a girl and wants to know how old she is. She smiled mysteriously and said, "Yesterday I was 22, and next year I'll be 25. Can you guess when the girl's birthday is and what date this took place? I'm sure you figured out the conversation took place on the 1st of January, and the girl's birthday is on the 31st of December. When she says yesterday, she means the 30th of December, when she was 22. She turned 23 the following day, and since they were talking on the 1st of January, she will indeed be already 25 a year from that day. The detective stormed into the lab just in time to stop the theft of a groundbreaking secret formula. 2 women stood under the harsh fluorescent lights, both dressed as scientists. But the detective knew one was the real deal and the other a clever thief with plans to swipe the priceless formula. One woman clutched a folder filled with papers. She had her ID badge clipped to her coat. The other one held a flask. So who's the thief? The detective noticed one subtle detail: a pair of pristine white gloves peeking out of the pocket of one of the ladies. Real scientist gloves don't stay clean for long in a lab. The spotless gloves were a giveaway. This lady wasn't experimenting. She was staging a heist and trying to leave no fingerprints behind. The detective decided to rest at the park. Suddenly, he heard a young girl crying. She told him someone stole her puppy of a rare and expensive breed. 3 people nearby are acting suspiciously. 2 women and a man. The first woman is holding a leash and claims it belongs to her own dog. The second woman is holding a bag of dog treats and says she has no idea what's going on. The man says he's just out for a jog and saw nothing. Who is hiding the truth? The detective notices it instantly. The first woman holding the leash is suspicious. It makes sense for someone to have a leash if they own a dog, but this leash is unusually clean and unused, with no signs of wear or scratches on the metal clasp. The second woman with the dog treats probably brought them to feed stray dogs or train her own pet. And it looks like the man isn't lying and really doesn't have anything to do with all this. The doctor gave her patient 4 pills of 2 types, 2 pills of each type. It's impossible to tell one from another, but it's important that the patient takes 1 pill of each type in the morning and the same in the evening. If he does something wrong, it could cost him his life. And yep, the pills got mixed up, and only you can save the patient's life. Can you figure out how to take the pills now? Just go back to the doctor and ask for more pills. Well, maybe it could work out in real life, but we're flexing the brain muscles here, so no. The patient will have to split each pill in half and take half of each pill in the morning and evening. A priceless crown arrived at a museum, and by priceless, I actually mean worth millions of dollars. It was still not on display, and only employees knew it was there. So when the crown went missing, the boss knew one of them had stolen it. She gathered all the staff in the exhibit room and told them she knew how to find the thief. Each of them had to walk past a special painting while the lights were turned off. The painting would scan everyone and reveal a faint glow when the thief passed by. The painting didn't glow at all during the procedure, but the boss knew exactly who had stolen the crown. How did she figure it out? The thief was the only one who hadn't walked past the painting. They believed it would glow, although their boss just made it up. A time traveler from the future accidentally stepped into the wrong portal and landed in our time. The portal he used has closed and he's stranded. He searched for a way to reopen it and noticed a strange message glowing on a screen nearby. How can he use this to reopen the portal? Did you notice that huge clock on the wall? The traveler must rotate the clock's hand, both the hour and minute hands, to align at the points mentioned in the note. He carefully set the hands at the right time, one after the other. When he aligned them one last time, the portal reopened and he stepped back into his time. Look at this beautiful family. One of these kiddos is named Kyle, and he's standing at the edge. If Liz were standing next to Sam, Paul would end up next to his namesake. Can you tell who's standing where? Liz is definitely not standing next to Sam. For her to be next to Sam, the girl would need to stand in the second spot from the left. Then, two namesakes would be next to each other to the right. So here they're from the left to right. Kyle, then Sam, Paul, Liz, and the second Paul. You're standing in front of a locked door. Your best friend is trapped on the other side. Whoa! Something is popping up on the screen. There's a hammer, a puzzle piece, a flashlight, and a rope. It looks like you must solve this riddle to rescue your friend. I hope you figured it out, because your bestie is pretty scared. It's the flashlight. You need to shine a light on the hidden code on the door to unlock it before using any other tools. Sophia and Lily were taking part in a local crafts fair. They were preparing for months. Sophia was really determined to sell all of her art because she made a bet with her husband. But the weather that day was just terrible. No one showed up to browse or buy anything. After hours of waiting with no customers in sight, both girls got really upset. Finally, they came up with a clever idea of how to sell everything, but without making any money. So, what did they do? Sophia and Lily simply sold their art to each other. Neither of them made a profit or loss. This way, they both technically sold everything. Mom comes home after a long day and immediately notices her favorite vase, the one she inherited from her grandma, shattered on the floor. She calls her three kiddos into the living room: Liam, Mia, and Zoe. None of them admits they did it. Liam says he was reading a book in his room and only came downstairs to greet Mom. Mia claims she was watching TV when she heard the vase breaking into pieces. Zoe says she was sleeping, but the vase drama woke her up. Mom inspected the scene and knew who did it. Can you do the same? Zoe broke the vase. The trail of wet footprints matches the drips from her popsicle, and she definitely wasn't enjoying a popsicle in her sleep. How many riddles did you manage to solve? Let us know in the comments. The day of the inter-school wizard duel had finally arrived. Moonshade Academy was receiving students from the nearby schools when Alex, Mira, and Theo noticed something strange. They had left their wands above a counter in the main hall, but now they were all gone. To compete, they needed to find their wands in under 10 minutes. Take a look at the image and see if you can find any clue about where the wands might be. Well, what about those muddy footprints leading to the potions room? Those look pretty suspicious, so the three wizards decide to follow them all the way to the next room. When they arrived, they found a disturbing scenario. The potion cabinet was open and lots of potions were missing. These thieves were planning on cheating their way to the top. There were 3 potions left that could help them find their wands. The first one, with the image of an ear, replayed sounds of the past, so they could hear everything that happened in the room. The second one, with an eye on it, revealed traces of magical objects. The third one, with a dog on it, enhanced the sense of smell so they could sniff any object they wanted to. Which potion should they use? Let's see. The first one wouldn't help them locate their wands, and the third one would probably be a bit confusing since there were 3 wands to locate. So they should definitely use the sight potion and track the traces of all magical objects moved until they found their wands. The potion led them all the way down to the dungeon where Moonshade students kept their dragons. When they arrived, they noticed that their dragons were super stressed. Actually, Mira's dragon looked like it was about to get sick. Take a look at the image. Can you spot the reason why Mira's dragon is not feeling well? If you have a good eye, you've definitely got this one right. The faint blue trace of the magic potion led all the way to Mira's dragon's belly. There are 3 blue lights shining inside her dragon's belly. These must be the lost wands. The thieves probably hid it in the dragon food and made Mira's dragon eat them to hide them. Yikes! The trio gave Mira's dragon a potion to get their wands out and ran back to the main hall for the start of the tournament. As soon as they got back to the main salon, the headmaster announced that a dangerous criminal had escaped from a high-security prison and was hiding amongst the students. Alex was chosen to identify the criminal. He narrowed the suspects down to 3 people. The first girl was dressed in a scuba costume. She said she had been on a mission to free a mermaid. The second woman was dressed in a dirty wedding gown. She said she had just arrived from a parallel reality where she saved a bride from a terrible villain. The third woman had her school uniform, but it was burnt. She said she was practicing spells and one of them went terribly wrong, so she almost put herself on fire. Can you guess who the criminal is? It's the third woman. She had no wand with her, so she couldn't have been practicing spells. Plus, the uniform is too small. She probably stole it from one of the real students. Then, it was Theo's time to prove his talents. He was left at a crossroads. Before him, there were 3 roads. One led him to a safe town, the second one to a dangerous forest, and the third to a mountain pass full of rocky debris. There were magical beings standing on the entrance to each road, and they could each answer one question. Theo decided to ask them all the same question. He asked them which road led to the safe town. The creature guarding the first path said that if he wanted to reach town, this wasn't the road. The second creature said that that was the road Theo needed. And the third creature said that if he took the first road, he would get lost. Which road should Theo take to get to the safe town? He should take the third road. The last creature was the only one who didn't talk about his specific road, but rather another one. So he should go down the third road to get to the safe town. The next task got a bit more complicated. Mira needed to cross the everlasting sands, a dangerous desert. She had 6 days to do it on camelback, but there was a catch. She could only carry enough food for 4 days and needed to be the sole person to do the complete journey. She could invite other people to tag along and help her, but only for a few days. These extra people could take extra food and share it all amongst them. How many friends do you think she should invite so that there's enough food for everyone? Let's see. She'll need to invite at least 2 people. Let's say Theo and Alex decided they wanted to tag along. By the end of the first day, they'll have enough food for 9 days. If they ate the equivalent of 3 days of food from Theo's bag, Alex would still have 1 day of food left to head back home and not need to cross the desert. Mira and Theo can continue the crossing with an 8-day food package. At the end of the second day, the total food supply will be reduced to a 6-day package. Now, Theo will have enough food for 2 days in his package, and he can head back home. This will help Mira to finish the 4 last days by herself. Yikes! This tournament is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Now it was Theo's turn to compete. He needed to cross a portal into a dark forest and look for a witch's house. He could only come back after retaining a strand of the witch's hair. After walking a few miles in the dark, he found the witch's house. The witch said she would willingly give him a strand of her hair if he helped her find a hawk's feather that went missing from her cabinet. The witch suspected one of her elves had taken it, so Theo went to investigate the case. Arian said that he was out all day picking berries with the fairies. Elowin said he spent the day at another witch's house testing an anti-aging potion. Ilaria was sorting out the bad herbs from the garden and didn't notice anything weird going on in the house. Theo immediately knew what had happened. Take a look at the picture. Can you figure it out too? It wasn't any of the elves. Theo noticed that the feather had fallen down and was stuck in a crack on the floor.